Hello and welcome to the second episode of Forza Fussball. We have three of our four regular members here today. Myself, Dino.
Hello.
Josh.
Hello.
And our guest, who is a Liverpool fan at the Cop Crowd, Connor.
Hello, how's it going?
Right, we'll start off with transfers in this episode. We did that in our last episode, but since then, deadline day has passed, and Arsenal fans like Dino have got excited about the signing of Mesut Ozil. United fans have been disappointed with their only signing of Maro and Fellaini, and City did absolutely nothing beyond all their signings of Jovetic, Negredo, etc. Liverpool had a great transfer window, signing Ilori, Moses on loan, and others on deadline day, including, and before that, Iago Aspas and the likes. Alright, let's start off with the biggest transfer of the Premier League this summer, Mesut Ozil. Dino, what's your views on this brilliant transfer for your club? Mesut Ozil to Arsenal from Real Madrid for 42.5 million.
I'm absolutely speechless, very happy. Ozil's a fantastic player. A lot of people watch Real Madrid, and most people are aware that he's one of the best passers of the ball in Europe. That left foot of his is absolutely fantastic, and I'm ecstatic because we've been missing that attacking spark, and maybe Ozil will bring that.
Yeah, he's a brilliant player. I did an analysis article on him a few days ago, and his partnership with Cristiano Ronaldo was absolutely fantastic. At Arsenal, you don't have the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo though, but I can see that Ozil, because of the brilliant player he is, in my opinion, the third best player in the world, ahead of Bale and Neymar and people. I can see him forming a brilliant partnership with Walcott should he improve his shooting, and Olivier Giroud, who's had a brilliant start to this season.
Yeah, I feel that a move that Arsenal have been working on during pre-season is playing Walcott in behind. It's usually Ramsey doing it, and now we've got such a great passer of the ball, Ozil. We could be deadly, especially with Cazorla as well, and Giroud, who's in red hot form at the moment. So I'm excited about future times now.
Yeah, as a rival of the Gooners, I like you, I'm speechless at the brilliant signing. The morning of deadline day, I was updating it and saw that United had, inquired about Ozil, and I was jumping off my seat happy. And then Arsenal got him, and considering we were the champions and you finished fourth, everyone thought he'd prefer United. He ended up going to Arsenal in one of the most surprising deadline day transfers ever. And Arsenal's attack now is brilliant with the likes of Wilshere, Cazorla, Podolski, Walcott, Giroud and Ozil. Ramsey, who has been brilliant this season, as well as Giroud and Podolski. Their back four doesn't look as good. Koscielny had a great season last season, probably the third best player, best defender in the league. But they should have solid up in defence. They did get Viviano, the goalkeeper from Palomero, on loan, which was another good signing. So, what was your thoughts?
With Arsenal fans, we're very disappointed. We're not very sort of faithful in our board with Gazidis, Kroenke, and also some are not very faithful in Wenger. But with this signing, we've shown we can bring in the best players available. So I'm really got a nice fresh breath at the moment.
Yeah, it's really a positive signing for Arsenal, not just because of the player he is, but the attraction he'll bring for other players. Josh, as a rival of Arsenal like me and Connor, how do you rate your City's transfer window compared to Arsenal's?
Obviously, Ozil's a really good signing for Arsenal, but in terms of getting so many players in early in the window and already allowing them to settle in, I think we've done pretty well. As a fan, you always want to see them deadline day moves happening. Gets you pretty excited. But logically, and over the course of the season, it's always much better to get them players in early. And Navas is a brilliant addition to the squad. A really pacey winger who can cross the ball, and he's always terrorising fullback. So I'm really excited to watch him this season. Negredo, he's another good player who's impressed me so far. He's got a really good act of scoring goals, and he's quite dangerous in and around the box, so I'm expecting him to do well. Jovetic, he hasn't featured in the Premier League thus far, but in that pre-season game against Bayern, he looked pretty good. And from what I've seen watching, Serie A over the last couple of seasons, he's been really good. So, Fernandinho as well. He's, in my opinion, he's a bit like a De Jong Mark II, except he carries the ball a lot better, and he's more dangerous when going forward, whereas De Jong was just used to mop up the play and feed it onto the more attacking players. But with Fernandinho, he's got the energy to drive forward, as well as Toure, although that can leave us exposed at times. But overall, I mean, Demichelis is coming as well, so already injured, so that's not too good. But overall, I'm quite pleased with the business we've done, and hopefully, come the end of the season, spending that money and getting all our transfers done relatively early in the window will pay off.
Yeah, you sort of did the opposite to what you did last season when you were on top and you panic bought towards the end after not managing to bring in any signings before the deadline day, and you bought people like Garcia, who hasn't had a successful season. And but now you did what United usually do, your neighbours, and bought well at the start. It was extremely successful for you. I looked on as a United fan, disappointed with ours and jealous of yours, if I'm honest. If your squad is strong now, last season you lacked depth. The Champions League was a shambles for you, as it has been over the last 2 years, because of your depth. Now you've got quality players in every position, with at least 2 backing up. And it looks bright for City now. Many are saying City will win the league. Personally, I think you will. And they'll bring back the title. Connor, what's your thoughts on Liverpool's transfer window?
Well, personally, I think Liverpool had quite a good transfer window, but I think they let too many young players go instead of holding on to them and developing them, such as Jay Spearing, because he looked promising, but he's now away to Bolton, as you know. But we did bring in Luis Alberto, which is a very good signing because he is only 19 or 20 years of age, and he showed what he could do last season for Barcelona's second team. And I'm very disappointed myself in Fabio Borini going out on loan, because I'm a big fan of him, and I think he could do well if he got given the chance at Liverpool. But now the most likely situation for him is he's going to come back from his loan at Sunderland and be sold. And I'd say the highlight of the transfer window was the signings of Sakho and definitely Mignolet, because we were lacking someone who had the experience, someone who was young and could develop themselves with that experience. So we brought in Sakho for I think 17 million, yeah? Was it 17?
Around that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so around 17, which is, I think that's a good deal. And Factor Moses on loan. What were you going to say?
So, I was just going to say, I'm very fond of Sakho. I think he's a fantastic defender, and I envy you. He's a good player. He can play left back and centre back, so he's the sort of player I would have liked to see at Arsenal. But after Liverpool's good start to the season, and now you're adding players of that calibre, I think you can be successful as all the teams we support can.
Yeah, well,
Liverpool had a good transfer window. They did sell their young, and Liverpool, Bill Shankly made it to be the club that bred youth like United did, who had the youth from the town of Liverpool. And now it doesn't seem like that, yet they do have them in their ranks. As a football fan, you can hope that they will hold on to the youth talents in like the under 21 team. On transfers, Sakho brings experience, although he's not the oldest player. He'll bring a sort of demeanour about him which will help other players. On Sturridge and Suarez has been suspended for the first couple of games after, as we all know, biting Branislav Ivanovic towards the end of last season, and Sturridge has really stepped up his game. having a brilliant brilliant few starts. He scored a goal against United, a couple, one against Stoke and one against Villa, if I'm correct. What are your views on how Suarez will now come into this team that are the top of the league, doing the best?
Go
Who's
on,
talking first?
go on, Connor. You're the Liverpool fan.
Thanks. Well, Daniel Sturridge has proved himself as, I wouldn't say a top class striker, but a capable striker. And I think once Luis Suarez looked back from his suspension, his first game available back, I think, is Man United in the League Cup.
Yeah.
I think if he gets that linkage with Sturridge, there's no reason why we can't have 2 20-goal season strikers up with them two. Because Sturridge he's getting the chances, he's been given the deliveries, and Suarez will definitely, I think Suarez will more play in a wide situation now, like play just behind and a wee bit on the left hand side of Sturridge, and play more of a false 9 role, just sitting behind him. And certainly if Suarez, he has shown over the past couple of seasons, he just needs to discipline himself and, kind of mature.
Yeah, on paper you're a very strong side, I think. With Sturridge up front, with Suarez coming in from the left possibly, and with likes of Gerrard in the midfield, my favourite game admittedly is Liverpool away. I love Liverpool away for some reason as an Arsenal fan. We usually go and win there. And this season I'm a bit edgy. I think it's going to be a hard place to go, Anfield.
Yeah, I always love the Liverpool matches. I've been to a couple as a United fan out of Trafford. I've never been to Anfield though. And they always bring a special occasion, and they did on Sunday last week when Liverpool beat United 1-0 against the odds of many. And it was a great result for Liverpool and an awful result for United. Liverpool now move on the season with 3 games in. They have the top of 9 points. The morale is high at Anfield, and it really looks like they can push on. I mean, some are even predicting a top 4 finish. I don't think so, but the future is bright. It's a cliche, but it's true. If we move on to some big signings of Tottenham, they signed 7 players in the transfer window. Many saying they did the best business in the summer transfer window for a long time. With Ericsson, Lamela, Soldado, Paulinho, and others all coming in. It's been good for Tottenham. If we start on Lamela, Josh, you're a Roma fan. You saw Lamela develop at Roma. What are your views on his transfer to Tottenham?
With Bale going, Spurs relied a lot on his goals last season, so it's obviously a big blow for them with him leaving and transferring to Madrid. But I think Lamela is a really shrewd piece of business, bringing him in from Roma. Similar to Bale in the respect that he's left-footed, he can play on either flank or as number 10. And I'm really a big admirer of him. I think he's got a lovely left foot. He can always create things and score goals. He's scored some great goals over the years for Roma. And he's quite quick off the mark. He can beat players easy, drift inside, or he can go on the outside. And he's just generally a fantastic player. And I'm quite upset that he's left Roma. Although they have brought Lajalic in from Fiorentina, but Lamela for Spurs, this season, I'm really expecting big things from him, and in the future, I reckon he could be equally as good as Bale, because if you watch him and closely monitor how he plays his game, it's just fantastic to watch, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him in the Premier League, and hopefully seeing him play live at the Etihad when we play Spurs. But hopefully we'll win that game.
Yeah, when he came into Spurs, I initially thought like for like, but not quality for quality. It's a true statement, but with as seeing him at Roma for a couple of years, you said you think he could be as good as Bale. Do you think he will be as good as Bale though?
It's difficult to say at this moment in time, as it was difficult to say when Bale was in Lamella's position. But when you watch him play, as I said, and you look at how Tottenham develop their players, I can really see him being a fantastic player and really becoming a big player for club and country over the next few years. Maybe it's a bit of a bold statement to say that he'll be as good as Bale. I don't expect him to go to leave Spurs for such a hefty transfer fee as Bale went for, but I have no doubts that this kid is very talented, and I reckon he's good enough to be as good as Bale on paper. It's just whether Spurs can develop him right, play him in the right role, and get the best out of him. And you never know.
Tottenham are building up a good army, if you like, here with all their signings and the quality they already had in their squad. Their midfield looks strong with Eriksen, Lamela, Paulinho, Dembele, and Sandro. Do you think that Tottenham will end up selling these players, or do you think they really are building a title-winning side here?
Well, it depends. You forgot a player, Capu, who I really rate highly. But if maybe the players, I can't see, as they're all coming this summer, I can't see them leaving next summer, even if Tottenham finish 5th. But if Tottenham can't make it to the top 4 within the next 3 years, the likes of Eriksen, the likes of Lamela, I just don't think they will. I think they'll want to move on. I think they deserve to be in the Champions League, and if Tottenham can't give them that, I think they'd want to move to a United, a City, a Milan, an Arsenal even. But if for now, another 2 years, I think Tottenham will be very strong, and they'll have a lot of depth as well. So they're another team that have a really strong squad at the moment.
Yeah, where should we move to now? Dortmund did some cracking business this season. They bought Aubameyang and the lad whose name I cannot pronounce.
And nobody else can.
Yep.
KH.
Yeah. So starting off with Aubameyang, he showed us that he's a quality player already. He's grabbed 3 goals in 4 games, or maybe 4 in 3 if I'm correct. He's a quality player. He's shown it, and Dortmund fans are really excited. Do you think he can become the quality of Lewandowski already at Dortmund, Van Persie and Suarez?
Well, I personally think he got a hat-trick in his first game playing from right midfield, so that just says it all about him really. He can cut in, I think his first goal was he cut in past the left back and just rolled it in the bottom corner. But he was playing for St. Etienne last year alongside Kurt Zouma, who is also quite a good player. And I'm not sure how many league goals he got last season, but I know it was a decent amount. And Borussia Dortmund, they definitely strengthened their strike force with buying him. And now they have him with Lewandowski and Royce.
Yeah. I think Aubameyang and Lewandowski can complement each other, with Lewandowski being more the Bergkamp-esque player who's got all the ability, all the touch, the beautiful player to watch. And then Aubameyang can be more like the Henry. He's a raw talent, he's quick, he can finish, strong, he's a nuisance to the defenders. And together, along with Royce, along with whatever his name is, and along with the likes of Sven Bender and others, I think Dortmund are a strong outfit with a really strong front 4.
Yeah, I reckon Aubameyang, he has the potential to be a really good striker. He's got all the attributes. I mean, he's incredibly fast, good finisher. And he can work well with strikers, and we've already seen that with him linking up with Lewandowski. So I agree with what Connor and Dino have said. Dortmund have done really well to bring him in, and I think he'll only improve their side. And even if Lewandowski does leave at the end of this season, then they don't need to splash out 20-30 million on a replacement, because in Aubameyang they already have a very good one there.
Yeah, they've worked together well so far. Do you think if when Lewandowski leaves next season, do you think Aubameyang will need someone else to complement him, or do you think he has that in the players already coming through the Dortmund system?
Well, personally, I wouldn't call myself a Dortmund fan, but I'm definitely a big follower of Dortmund. If you look at the talent they've been bringing through, such as they've brought through Lietner, they've brought through Gotzev, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they brought him through. Yeah. They've brought through. Yeah. You just list as endless. Hummels, yeah, Hummels.
Yeah, lots of talent.
Even Royce.
Yes, they did.
No, they didn't bring Royce.
Yeah, he was at Dortmund, and then
he was at Borussia Mönchengladbach, so he was.
Anyway, yeah, go on. What were you going to say?
Should we? How much do you think Lewandowski will be missed at Dortmund next season?
I think massively. He's an absolutely fantastic player. He's the only one who I would class as world class. Maybe Hummels and possibly Piszczek. But yeah, he would be massively missed. And I'm not sure if they will sustain how good they've been over the last few years.
We definitely missed Kagawa.
Yeah, so with the international break in progress now, we saw England beat Moldova 4-0 in the few nights earlier. What's your views on the international break and how it affects a player who's just come into a squad not being able to start with them straight away, having 2 weeks of a break?
Who wants to answer that?
Yeah, I'll answer first.
John?
Yeah, it's a strange one, really. I mean, if I was a player, if I was in, say, Ozil's situation, if you've just signed for a club like Arsenal, you'd be all fired up and ready to go. But unfortunately, with the international break, you're not allowed to do that, and it's quite strange to see the way you have to work your fixtures around the international break. So most, obviously World Cup qualifying and European qualifying is, massively important to a nation, but, some of the friendlies that teams play, they're not really of much importance, so it's probably pointless playing in. And I know this has been World Cup qualifying and not friendlies, but even so, you've got to admit that when you've just signed for a new team, you're really up for it, and the adrenaline's still probably kicking in, and you want to start training with the club, and then get your first start and get your debut, but obviously international football and the international fixtures sort of hinder that. So it's disappointing to see when the actual fixtures are played, and I'm hoping that FIFA can change that, and so these players can get the debuts as early as they want.
Yes, it's very, very frustrating when your team's in a good run of form, like Connor's probably feeling now. They've got the team gelling nicely. They've got all these, all the strike forces are working. The defence is playing an offside track well, and then they've got to go and play for their national teams. Where I get the feeling that players don't really have the same passion that a Trevor Brooking or a Gascoigne would have had. Only when I watch England, the only players I see that actually look like they care are Gerrard, Wilshere, and maybe Joe Hart, and possibly Ashley Cole too. But still, the majority of the players seem like they just want to be back and playing with their clubs again.
Yeah, United fans, I don't know where I stand on this. I haven't decided yet. Always say club over country, and many United players have said that. But you saw with Danny Welbeck the other night that he got booked and he really wanted to score. He was like a little boy in a playground who'd just been told off. He wanted to go and prove himself. And I think with England, the people coming through the ranks now, they're not being developed properly. English football development has been shocking for the last 5 years. St George's Park has just come into action, and that looks a promising sight. But I think the people being developed now are really beginning to have a passion for playing for England. Do you agree or what?
Yeah, I watched the under-21s the other night, and although it wasn't the best performances in Southgate's first game, and it wasn't up against the fantastic opposition in Moldova, but you could see that, you know, the players were very keen to impress, and it was quite raw, so they was, you know, really up for the challenge, and hopefully we can continue to produce, you know, the likes of Ward-Prowse, Chalobah, and a couple of others, Ross Barkley, you know, Shelvey. These sort of players, they are fantastic footballers. But as Patrick Vieira said once, when I went to an event last month, he said that at City they want to produce fantastic players, but mentally they've also got to make sure that they're, you know, keen to, you know, to get their career to the highest level possible and be passionate about playing games and always up for it, you know, not just thinking, oh, I'll turn up and just do what I have to do, not really, you know, go out in full force and drive on and win a game. So I reckon we are producing some players that are very keen to do so, and if we do, then it'll only increase our chances of improving in the next tournaments, because our record over the past few years is, you know, terrible.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, looking at the youngsters that England have, I don't know if you guys heard, but apparently their aim is to, win the 2022?
Yeah, that's what Greg Dyke said, didn't he?
Yeah, so that's their aim. People laughed. People said that's not going to happen. But if you look at some of the talent we have, Barkley and Wilshere in the midfield. We've got,
they could be in their peak by then.
Yeah, exactly. We've got Walcott, who'll be experienced on the right.
Luke Shaw will be filling in that left back role.
Prime as well. Ward-Prowse, who's a very good talent. And you've got like tons of players. I could name loads that really look like they've got a big future ahead of them. And it's nice to hear when they're all English. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to our future. Maybe we can create something special.
Yeah, we have to make sure though that we cherish them players and help them mature and look after them, or else it'll be a major disappointment for the country if these players can't step up to the mark and reach the level that we hope they can reach.
Yeah, that's true. It's all in the attitude as well, but that's a completely different conversation, isn't it?
It's pretty difficult for me sitting here because I'm from Northern Ireland and we're kind of terrible at football. Like, we beat England once and that's like the height of our success.
Well, I'm from Cyprus, so I know how you feel.
Yeah, well, Northern Ireland are probably slightly better than Cyprus.
Yeah.
Alright, should we take some questions we've received? At our City Views, there's who was the best deadline day signing? So, Josh, do you want to start on this?
Yeah, just thinking now. In terms of the big transfer and what he will bring to Arsenal, you can't look further than Ozil. Obviously, he'll be a fantastic player. I mean, when he's got the ball at his feet and when he's, in space, he's just virtually unstoppable. And, Dino mentioned before that he's a superb passer of the ball, but he's not only a great passer of the ball, he's a great passer of the ball in dangerous areas, and he can find his teammates and play the pass that no one else can see. So, I have to say Ozil, but if you're looking at small transfer fee or on loan, I think Lukaku's a brilliant addition to Everton on a temporary basis, as is Barry. I mean, Barry's got a lot of criticism over the years, but as a City fan, I really didn't want him to go. I really wanted him to stay at City. He's been a great servant, and I'm a great believer in what he does. He's not a flashy player. He's not going to run past 6 players and put the ball in the net, but what he does is effective, and he just mops up the play and feeds it on. And he'll be a really good signing for Everton. and it'll be a big loss to City, I think, because I think we're a bit short now. Only Garcia and Rodwell, who may not stay fit for the course of the season as cover. I think I'll say Ozil, although Lukaku and Barry are really good deadline day signings for Everton, as is McCarthy. But yeah, it was an exciting deadline day, and Ozil's got to be a deadline day signing. Super addition to Arsenal.
I'd like to carry on what you said about Barry. Some things, everyone has their one view, and when they hear something different, it annoys them very much. But I'm like Josh, I think Barry, hearing people at my school or friends of mine saying, "Oh, Barry's an awful player, he's got no technical ability," I disagree so much. I think on his day, he can be a really good player. Tackles, he's got good stamina, and he's, like, at the start of last season, he was almost undroppable at one stage. He was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
It's a great signing for Everton, in my opinion.
Definitely.
Dino, I can guess who you think is the signing of deadline day. I'm guessing it is Mesut.
I think all his followers can.
No, it's actually it's Sacco. No, I'm joking. Of course, it's Ozil. I loved him before he joined us, and I love him more now. I do think though, although I was only joking, I think Sacco is an absolutely brilliant signing. Can you say it's a deadline day? It was sort of between deadline day and the day before, but
No, it was confirmed on deadline day morning, so
yeah. I think we should confirm his deadline day.
Yeah, so Sacco is a really good signing, I think. Really good. Like, he's got that European pedigree that Liverpool might be lacking. So I'm gonna say it's between Ozil and Sacco.
Yeah, Sacco, he's 23, but he's got plenty of experience in France with PSG and other clubs. And as you say, that European pedigree that Liverpool have lacked, they now have it. Connor, who do you think the signing of deadline?
I'm gonna have to say Peter Odemwingie. I'm not gonna say Fellaini for obvious reasons, because it was a panic buy and there was no thought behind it. They were able to sign him for, I think, 23 million up until the 31st of July, because that was in his contract, and then once that passed, it was going to be more than that. And then he waited until the very last minute and spent 27.5 million on him. And realistically, they didn't need him. But
yeah,
yes, continue.
On Fellaini, how much do you think he was worth? He is worth
about 11 million. No, deadly serious.
A bit more than that.
Well, no, about 17, not 27.
No, not 27.
I'd say 20.
I'd say 18 to 20, roughly.
I'd say 20, but due to the deadline day fee, it was always going to be more, and that's why it's 27.
Yeah.
I think should United have done it even 3/4 of the way through the window, I think they would have managed to get him for at least 5 million less. For me, Ozil is the signing of deadline day. You can't go past him. It's surprising, it's brilliant, and you can't beat it. On to the next question. At our City views again. Which club did the best business this window? Real Madrid, Juventus, Manchester City, or your own, if you want?
Can I answer first, please?
Yeah.
I'm actually going to say it's either between Sunderland, because look at the signing Sunderland made. Never mind Gareth Bale to Real Madrid. They brought in they brought in roughly 11, 12, 13 players.
It was a new squad.
Yeah, they brought in Diakite from Lazio on a free transfer, and he is a quality centre back, definitely on a free transfer. He will improve their team. And they brought in Jose Altidore from AZ Alkmaar, and he has definitely proven himself. I think he notched about 8 hat-tricks last season. So good. They brought in Ganarici from, or how do you say his name?
Giaccherini.
Yeah, he's a fantastic signing. He really fits the bill for Sunderland. They lacked the small, agile winger of him, and now they've got it. He'll really fill the gap they missed last season. Dino, who do you think's done the best business this transfer window?
The 3 teams for me that are outstanding are Tottenham. Sad to say that because I hate them with a passion, but Tottenham, Roma, for me. And also, of course, Sunderland, who have basically replaced half their squad. So I think Spurs had the best one, in my opinion, because Ericsson, Lamella, Hapu, it's a phenomenal, Soldado as well. It's just
T-Rexes for centre back.
Yeah, Churches as well, yeah. Everything they've lacked over the years, they seem to have brought in. Plus they've got a lot more depth than they've ever had, and they can really push on for fourth. Roma, I said because they brought in the likes of Trevino and Maicon. So yeah, but I'm gonna say Tottenham.
Josh, what's your opinion?
In terms of Premier League, I don't think you can look further than Spurs. Soldado's a really good signing for them. He's bound to score quite a good number of goals. Then you've got Ericsson, who I think is it's a superb player with the ball at his feet. He's brilliant to watch, and he'll be a very good addition to Spurs. Lamella, as we've mentioned before, he'll be absolutely fantastic for them. Capu, I've been impressed with what I've seen of him so far. He's looked pretty good on the ball, and he's good in the tackle, and he protects that and patrols that back four, pretty well. So Spurs have invested very well this summer, but I think one that's gone under the radar but is Norwich. I think
Norwich.
Nathan Redmond is a brilliant catcher. I mean, I've been watching the Championship and following it for a good number of years, and he's a really, really impressive young player.
They brought in
really exciting. Yeah, really exciting young player. Always taking players on. He was probably the only good player out of the under-21s last summer for England, and he'll be a fantastic signing. And he's a really promising young player, and if he is to leave Norwich in the next few years, they're bound to make a good profit on him. And you've got Van Volswinkel, who is decent player, 8.5 million, decent bit of business there for a striker who who's proved his worth in Portugal with Sporting. Looked pretty good in the Europa League, and he'll be a good signing for them. Hooper, I know he's injured at the moment, but his goal record with Celtic over the past couple of seasons. I suppose it's in the SPL, but
he's still a good striker, no doubt about that.
Yeah, he's still a very good striker. So it'll be interesting to see if he can prove his worth. And Leroy Fer, I've not seen him too much, but I watched him at the Euros, the under-21 Euros, and he looked pretty good there, and he's settled in quite nicely. So Spurs and Norwich for the Premier League. But on a global scale, I reckon Napoli have done really well. Higuain, he's a brilliant replacement for Cavani. You've got the likes of Dries Mertens, Real Albiol, Jose Callejon, Pepe Reina. Yeah, so really good business there. And he sets up for a nice season in Serie A, as it does in the Premier League, with Spurs and Norwich investing really well.
Yeah, for me, it's unlikely between Tottenham and Borussia Dortmund. Both of them, they lost their key player. Borussia Dortmund losing Götze to Bayern, and Tottenham losing Bale to Real Madrid. And they've both replaced them. I mean, yes, Tottenham did it with 7 players. Dortmund did it with 2, but they both did fantastically. I'm gonna have to go with Tottenham because not only have they replaced him, they've improved the quality. The depth in their squad is remarkable. I don't think we've seen a squad like that for a while in the league. Onto the final subject.
Can I say something?
Yep.
As you're talking about Dortmund, they also signed the centre-back Socrates Papastathopoulos, who's Greek.
Yeah, he's a very good centre-back.
And I really like him. As a Cypriot, but I follow the Greek national team a lot because there's no point watching Cyprus. Anyway, I've seen him play many times. I thought that was a really good coup. I've not been excited about a Greek talent like this for lots and lots of years. So I think he'll prove he's worth the outlay, and he could develop a good partnership with, be it Hummels or Subotic.
On to the final subject of to this week's podcast. I've been telling my friends, my dad, my family that Ozil is the third best player in the world. Dino, do you think he's the third best player in the world?
I don't. I can't say I do. I think I wouldn't even put him in my top 5. I'd put him about 7th to 13th in the world, because I think obviously the top 2 are Ronaldo and Messi. I think in no particular order the next few are Ribery, Lahm, Iniesta, and then you've got the likes of Thiago Silva, Ibrahimovic, Van Persie, and those sort of players, Falcao. So I'd put him about 10th. But yeah, I hate judging my top 10 players. I find it really hard, and I don't think you can really compare attacking and defending players. If you're in terms of the number 10s, I'd put him above the likes of Fabregas. So I'd say he's the best number 10 in the world, but he's not the third best player in the world for me.
Alright, Josh, where do you think he's rated in the world for you?
I agree with Dino. I reckon he's a superb number 10. But as for saying he's the third best player in the world, I don't think he is yet. He has the potential to, but at this current moment, I think there's just a couple of players that are better than him. You know, when you look at the likes of Ribery, Cavani, Van Persie, and then defensive players like Lahm, Thiago Silva, and a couple of others. You know, he's a fantastic player, but I'd probably rank him, you know, about maybe around about 8th to 10th. I think he's a tremendous talent, and the amount of chances he's created over the past 2 seasons for Real is superb. But at the moment, I still feel that there's a couple out there better than him.
Alright, Connor, finally, where do you rate Mesut Ozil?
I'm not actually quite sure. He's good, but I wouldn't say he is top 3 in the world. I would say in the next couple of years, I don't know how he's going to do at Arsenal. I don't know how he's going to fit in there. But if he plays the way he was playing at Real Madrid, he will be pushing for World Player of the Year in the next couple of years, definitely. But for now, I would rate him maybe just pushing for top 10 in the world.
Talking about Player of the Year, where do you guys think he is in the Premier League? I mean, I've heard places from 13th to Matt Siddle at Siddler _ saying he's first, which was quite interesting, I thought. I'd rank him in the league top 5 for sure. Probably, I said 3rd behind Suarez and Van Persie.
Are we judging this on paper? Because he's not played yet. Yeah, he's got to be up there. You know, for Madrid he's been brilliant, and if he can repeat that sort of form at Arsenal, he's bound to be there and thereabouts. Yeah, he's probably around about there. Maybe, yeah, he's definitely in the top 10. Just thinking, you know, Van Persie's got to be in the top 5. Suarez, Company.
There's going to be about 12 players here in the top 5.
Hazard, Mata.
Yeah, that's more than 5 for your top 5.
Yeah. So
it's really hard. I mean, ranking.
Yeah, I agree, man.
Let's just say as well.
I'd just say he's definitely in the top 10. And
I'm just
if he
better
can
than all
repeat
of them.
that sort of form at Madrid with Arsenal, then I'd expect him to definitely push to be in the top 5, maybe even eventually the best player in the Premier League.
I would rate him first in the Premier League, Van Persie second, Suarez third, and then I don't know beyond that. And on that bombshell, we've got to say goodbye. I've always wanted to say that. Thank you for listening to Forza Fussball with me, Harry, Dino.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just forgot his Twitter at.
Josh
Hello.
at Disguise Pass, Connor at the Cop Crowd, and me, Harry at HR Football. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.
Bye.